it's your girl Candy J with another episode of Candyology. Hey, guys, listen. Tap in because I have a treat for you today. Y'all, my hand sanitizer falling off. You can see that I am in my office. You know, things tend to fall when you are excited about the guest that you have today. Yes! I can't wait to tell you guys who the guests are. But if you've been watching my flyers and my live for the past 3 weeks, you already know. Yeah, I got a treat for y'all. Okay, listen. So if you are watching from anywhere other than Dallas, tell me where you're watching from. Because, you know, I know some of my people be watching from Florida, Louisiana, New York. Come on, tell me where you're watching from. I'm so excited. So if this is your first time here, my name is Candy J. I am a certified clinical sexologist through the Dr. Rachel Institute and the American Colleges of Sexology. I specialize in putting the oohs and the ahs back into your relationship. But honestly, guys, I do this by helping you to foster better communication in your relationship. And so that makes me also a relationship and intimacy coach. So I specialize in life after infidelity, dating after divorce, postpartum issues for the man and for the woman, sex education for all ages, but I have a sweet spot for that middle school age. If you've ever watched my lives, you know that I'm a former middle school teacher as well. So those babies always have a sweet spot for me, and I definitely have a heart for them. I also have some things going on, guys. Now listen, today you've already missed the special, okay? So don't look at the slide too funny, okay? Because you've already missed the special. Today's August 21st. Sorry, you cannot come to the couples retreat for the $397. However, somebody say, however, September 23rd and 24th, there is a mini couples retreat coming on. So listen, this couples retreat is about learning how to communicate better and rekindling the flame into your relationship. And listen, let me tell you, there is no shame in seeking help and seeking assistance. Everybody needs a refresher in their relationship. I don't care if you've been married for 5 years or 45 years. Something has fizzled out and died, and you can learn how to rekindle that thing, right? So on September 23rd, on that Friday night, guess what, guys? It's a couples game night. It's a meet and greet. You get to know. I have a lot of things for you to play around with and just meet couples. And listen, when you are going through something together with other couples that are going through the same thing, it's about community, and you can learn so much, right? And so payment plan, if you still need a payment plan, I know this is almost a month out, but you can still do payment plans, half and half for $557 if you're doing a payment plan, because it's a little bit steeper for me to allow you to do a payment plan. Or you can use Afterpay and do $497 outright, and hey, you're in that thing, right? So lunch will be catered on Saturday. So you'll go through 4 different little mini conferences inside of the conference on that Saturday. And it'll be 2 classes in the morning, 2 classes in the evening, and then lunch will be catered, okay? So listen, if your relationship needs to be revived, if you just think that something's off and you just want a refresher, or you think, oh, everything is okay, but we can always learn something new, this mini couples retreat is for you, okay? So the next thing I was telling you guys about, listen, so premarital counseling, guys. So the class started for the group counseling. It started already on August 9th, but that does not mean that you can't get in still. You'll just have to catch up to the last class, right? But group option, again, provides community, provides other couples going through the same thing, getting ready to be married and start that new life. And then it's giving you all of the tools, right? So if you see at the bottom of that little flyer, it says topics covered. Finances and budgeting. Come on now. Financing and budgeting is one of the top 5 things that people divorce about. Family and friends, a second one. Being a team together, children, that's one of the third things. Faith and values, expectation, gender roles, intimacy, and sex is one of the top 4 reasons why people divorce. Communication and conflict resolution. 5, we're at 5 now. Okay. So you get all of those tools. Now, let me tell you something. There's something about only 35% of couples before they get married get prenatal counseling or prenatal education. But of those couples, 80%, the statistics show that 80% of those people stay together. So I would bet on the odds of staying together, because nobody gets married to get what? Divorced, right? So get the tools that you need, right? The in-person counseling is $800. So let me tell you the difference between the two. One is group, that's virtual, that's $400. That's half the price. You're paying $50 for each 1 hour session. It's 8 sessions total. In-person counseling is $100 a session, because you're coming in person. You're getting into this lovely facility here, and you're getting that one-on-one help. And you decide what's better for your relationship. Okay. Last thing that I have to tell you before I bring on my special guest, guys, is I am only taking 5 couples in October for my SPICE course. What does SPICE stand for me? Sensuality, passion, intimacy, communication, and excitement. So we go from creating a safe space to talk about some things to putting the excitement back into the bedroom. And no matter where you are on the meter of being spicy, or learning how to communicate, or not knowing how to communicate some things, it doesn't matter where you are, this course will help you. So listen, 90 days of this. So that's 3 months that you get for the price that you're paying for. You get 2 bedroom candy products inside of this price. You get a spice journal to help you keep things a little spicy. You get challenges every single week to execute, whether that be just literally learning how to create a safe space, or talking about love languages, or role playing, or meeting each other for a dinner date. It just depends on what it could possibly be. And then, of course, there's some bonus information in there for those that like some certain things, a little bit of special things that they might want to do in that bedroom. Okay. All right. So listen, the payment plan is on the screen to your left. It works the same way. If you're paying on a payment plan, it's a little bit more. So it's $25.37. You get a $500 discount if you use Afterpay. So you're only paying $2,000 versus $25.37. And if you just pay in full, it's $23.57. But that $2,000 for Afterpay. Okay. So, and of course, you always have the option to pay that Afterpay off. It just depends on what you want to do. So listen, guys. I have this couple been waiting backstage. Listen, people, some of y'all don't know. I dibble and dabble in a few things, okay? And Mary Kay is definitely one of them. If you have ever seen my lives and my photos, you will see some Mary Kay concealer. You'll see the foundation on my face. You'll see the lipstick, the lip skincare, all kinds of things. And this lovely woman happens to be my upline of my upline. We're not going to get into all of that right now. However, her and her husband are gracing my stage today. And one of her favorite phrases, ain't nobody playing over here. So without further ado, let me bring them on screen, on camera. Yes, hello, people. How y'all doing today? What's good?
We're doing great. Excited to be on with you today.
Oh my goodness. So about 3 weeks ago, Mary Kay had this convention and such. And I think some things were announced that I just want to make sure before I even get started with this interview. What had happened, girl? What happened? Tell me what happened.
Oh my God, so much happened. But we, of course, added more diamonds to my necklace, picked up more diamond rings. We finished our 2023 pink Cadillac, just waiting on it to be finished being built. And now we are getting ready to start our next level of Mary Kay, actually our last level, and that is qualifying for national.
Okay, so tell the people what that means though, because if they've
That's right.
never ever heard of Mary Kay before, right? They don't know anything about the pink Cadillacs and the diamonds and the rubies and the sapphires and all of those things. What does that mean, Lafreda?
Well, we have an opportunity to earn. We earn career cards based on your activity with your team. The diamonds are based on your sales with your customers. And of course, national is the ultimate position. That's where your family security kicks in and your retirement and all those things. So that's just kind of where God is calling us to, because it's definitely a calling when you're leading that many people in the same direction at the same time. So we're just blessed to be able to serve at a greater capacity at that level.
Yes, and I'm so excited. $1,000,000. What? Whoop, whoop. Hey, I'm so excited for you. Now, tell me who this lovely person sitting to your right or your left, depending on the screen that you're watching on.
This is my amazing husband of 22 years, 23 years. 23 years. Look at me, 23 years. My amazing husband of 23 years. This is Mr. Williams, as I like to call him. This is Johnny Ray Williams. I just call him Mr. Williams. A lady told me a long time ago, when you're around one of the top directors, she said, when you're around a bunch of women, you make all them address him as Mr. Williams. That way you don't lose your
Hi, Mr. Williams.
This is Mr. Williams.
Good evening. How you doing? So listen, okay. So I have so many questions for you, but sometimes we gotta pay bills. So we'll be right back. Well, we're back. We are talking with Miss Lafreda and Johnny Ray. And if this is the first time that you're watching, my name is Candy J. I am a certified clinical sexologist through the Dr. Rachel Institute, and I specialize in putting the oohs and the ahs back into your relationship. But I do this by helping you to foster better communication. And you'll learn more about me throughout this whole session. But right today, we're talking to this beautiful, lovely couple right here. So tell me something. You said 23 years. How does that happen? Tell the people. Talk to us.
Well, it's a lot of work. Let's be real clear on that. And I would say that communication, effective communication, is key. It hasn't always been everything, but we've learned to work through life changes and situations and circumstances. And so, I think just talking a lot, keeping, God first and foremost in a relationship, has helped. And just, being there for one. Both of us knew we wasn't going anywhere. So we just had to figure out what's deal breakers, what could be changed, what could be altered. And, women, we can be like all the time. And sometimes it ain't necessary. Like, it just ain't necessary. So there's some things that are deal breakers, and there's some things that, it's really just not that serious. But I think that comes with maturity and growth.
Absolutely. I would definitely agree. So tell me something. Tell me your love story. What happened? How did y'all meet?
We actually met on a blind date. His cousin was married to my cousin, and they hooked us up on a blind date. And he was worrisome, girl. He was real worrisome when we first started dating. But he just knew that I was going to be his wife. Like, he just knew I was going to be his wife. So he pursued me. Let's be real clear. He tried to say it's the other way around, but no, he pursued me. And so we didn't know each other long before he had proposed. But I fell in love with the way he treated me. I fell in love with the way he treated my son. And I was taking care of a cousin at the same time. So if you find find a man that he's willing to take on you and your child and somebody else's child, there's value to that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just kind of started from there and, blossom on until we got married. And we have, I have my one son from a previous marriage. And then I have, my daughter, that's our daughter. In that part though, I learned to not make him pay for the past experiences from the other man. We're sometimes like, well, so-and-so did this and so-and-so. Okay, but that's not his story. Let's kind of put all that to the side and create new memories, because when you've been hurt before, those memories are still there. They're real. And so we try to have some a wall up to protect our hearts from being hurt again. And so I had to, learn to let down that wall and let him in.
So, Mr. Williams, how was that for you? What do you feel like that was the most difficult part about that part? Letting down her walls. Getting her to let down her walls.
Oh, it didn't bother me because I know what I had.
Wait, that was a confident statement. Hold on, wait a minute. So she said that wasn't quite the story that you might tell. What's your side of the love story?
Just like going to a car lot. Once you test drive it, you do what? You buy it.
Wait a minute. So you was test driving? Is that what you just said?
I think that's what.
No, when she test drove.
So tell me, how do you become a man like that? It's a lot of things going on around these parts, right? And I think that we lack in real men talking to real men. So tell me something. How do you become a man that you're willing to take on somebody else's kid and love her? What frame of mind do you have to be in?
You got to be in your right mind for one thing.
Oh, say that again.
Just, I guess just trusting and believing what you can do for her.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what was you confident in that you knew that you brought to the table? I just asked a question.
Security. Security.
Oh, security. Is that how you felt, Frida? Secure?
I kind of did, because when we got together, I was working 5 jobs. And so all at the same time. And I can remember one conversation we had was, he wanted to spend more time with me. Well, time wasn't something that I had a whole lot of, because I had the 2 kids and I was working 5 jobs. And I remember telling him, if you can replace one of these incomes from one of these jobs, then I could quit one of these jobs and that frees up more time. Right. And so he was like, well, if that's all it takes. And I'm like, and I'm not the one that's going to be asking you for it. I just needed to be on the dress. Okay. On Fridays or when you come over, I just needed to be there. And so, and he did that, and he did it consistently. So that let me know too, that I was never going to be like by myself, right. And that, that he would provide for me to the best of his ability, because he was willing to help me with that financial piece before we even like got totally together.
And you said you guys, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because to be present in one moment, you got to be absent from another moment. And so, I just didn't have a lot of time.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine working 5 jobs at the time. Lord Jesus. I mean, I know you to be a hustler, but ma'am. That was a lot. So you said it wasn't that long before you guys got married or he proposed. How long was it?
I'm graduating in what?
It may have been like we dated maybe 5 months, maybe 5 or 6 months. And we were.
Pam was going off to college.
No, she wasn't then. It was like 5 or 6 months before we, something happened to your screen.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Huh.
But yeah, it was like 5 or 6 months.
I think that fixed the issue. I think.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to touch my desk either. You said 5 or 6 months. Oh my goodness, that was fast. And this was in 19 what?
99.
Oh my goodness, that's a long time, y'all. Oh, I think I was just getting to Texas actually. In my senior year of high school. That tells you how old I am, right? So from that point on, once you guys got married, what would you say was the biggest challenge throughout your relationship?
Partly is, if you haven't already noticed, Ray is a man of few words. Now, when he speaks, but he's a man of few words. And so I had to learn that, my way of communicating was different from his, and how to embrace that. Because we all have a picture image of what we think marriage is supposed to look like, or what a healthy marriage is supposed to look like. And in some cases, I thought because we didn't talk, as we talked, but not as much about some things as maybe I thought we should have, you start thinking that you might be missing out on something, or something may not be there. But I had to embrace his love language is giving. That's his love language. My love language is words of affirmation. So I'm gonna need you to tell me I look cute. I'm gonna need you to tell me all these things. I want you to pump me up, okay? But his love language is giving. And so learning that maybe he didn't always verbalize it, he showed it. Because you have some men who will verbalize it and do nothing to show you how important or valuable you are. So it's just learning what each person's love language is, and being able to kind of, mirror that for each other, instead of sometimes looking at what you think somebody else have. And in actuality, they don't have it either, but the perception is they do. Does that kind of make sense?
Yes, I'm so glad that you said that, because it's part of something that I teach for my multiple different courses. The 5 love languages are so important. And if you are not familiar with the 5 love languages, it's giving, words of affirmation, acts of service. And then my top 2 is physical touch and quality time. And what I always tell people is, even though there's 5 of them, they say one thing, but it looks different for everybody, and you guys figured out what works for you all. And so that's amazing. But did you guys have arguments about all of that at first, or was it just a let me watch and see, or how did that work?
It was never so much arguments, because Ray don't argue. So, and if he argued back with me, I don't know that we would have been here 23 years later. So he doesn't argue back with me. He would just be looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Like, and that would even make me mad that I was mad. He wasn't mad. So I quickly learned that wasn't the route to go with him either, because he's not going to argue with me. So we normally would just say what we need to say, and we're on to the next thing. Because as women, typically, we ain't getting mad today and we over it in a few minutes. We going to bed with it. We waking up with it. It's going on to next week. And so when he's not like that, it's like I'm the one that's suffering, because I'm holding on to something that he's long let go. So it's not that we still don't have disagreements, but it's rarely ever an argument, because I do the arguing and he going on by his business.
But wait, how does it ever get solved if he does not talk back?
I mean, it gets fixed, because whatever it is, it ends up working itself out once one or the other has said what they needed to say. But it's not like it has to be a cussing, fussing situation. Okay. It's like, whatever, and let's move on. But it's just, I think it's growth too. Once you decide that, what, he used to always tell me, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. So at that point, you just got to fix you, Lafreda, because,
I love it. I'm not going nowhere. So, I mean, it is what it is. So fix you. Okay. It's me, Lord. It's me standing in the need of prayer. Okay. I got it. So how did that work with, how old was your son at the time?
My son was 9. He was 9. It was, it was a challenge at first because my son was 9 years old, still sleeping with me. So he had his own room, but he was still sleeping with me. And so he wasn't too happy to see this dude coming home because that means, he has to move on. But my son loved how he was supportive. Like he showed up to football practice and he took him to get a haircut. And, he spent time with him. And so that ended up being very important. And as he got older, he didn't have a real relationship with his dad until he was like 18. So really Ray is the only father figure that he has that has been there to not only support him, but to teach him and to be there for him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love that. Would you concur, Ray, that was the only challenges that you felt that you guys might have had with raising the son together, that it's not yours?
No, it wasn't a challenge because it was a bunch of kids in our house. So.
Okay. Wait, a bunch.
His mom took care of a bunch of, back in the day, grandmas and aunties took care of everybody. So he grew up with a house full of people. So it was like common to him that this is just family. This is just what we do.
Right.
And so he never looked at it like this is my stepson or, whatever. Our kids are pretty equal when it comes to that. In fact, my son now works for him. So it's like a whole family affair that, that God has just blessed tremendously.
I love it. So, let me ask this. How has God been a factor? Because I already know. How has God been a factor in your relationship?
Faith. I mean, our faith has been tested by the fire, not so much because of us, but because both of us are givers and servers. And so, bringing my mom to live with us for 12 years, me taking care of sick sister and other people, it always had to be like God focused, because that time in one area is time away from another. And so I don't think if we were grounded the way we were spiritually, that we could have sustained some of those things. Because when my mama was sick, she was really sick and she needed a whole lot of me. And so he never complained once or made me choose, you spending too much time at the hospital, or you doing this, or you doing that, and opening up our home to people and kids and all that. And it's just like the word says that we're supposed to take care of the elderly. We're supposed to take care of the orphans and the widows and the people in prison. That's what the words say we're supposed to do. And so we wasn't just talking the word, we were living the word. And so I believe God blessed us even the more together, because even in our giving and serving, we were doing that together. It wasn't like he was doing more, I was doing more. We were doing it together. Like, my mom, she would call him sometime before she would call me, because she knew that he would do for her sometimes even more than I would, because he was sneaking us stuff she wasn't supposed to have and all kind of foolishness when I wasn't around. So because we were doing it, serving together, I believe God just strengthened us and our faith even the more.
I love that. Did both of you guys grow up in church?
I did, and he didn't.
Interesting. So how did God become a part of your life?
Well, I was always at church because I cleaned up my church and I did finance at my church. So that was 2 of my 5 jobs. But what was weird is, if you take a man to church with you, that means he's staying for real, right? Like, you ain't just taking men back and forth. You gotta get a good church girl. So he kept on like, I want to go to church with you. I want to go to church. I'm like, no, man, you ain't going to church with me. So he kept on insisting on going to church with me. And I guess once I took him to church, he was in for the kill at that point. But I believe you knew the Lord, you just wasn't going to church. I don't know. But we bonded even more with that piece of it. And then I can say too, I've always been a server in the church. And sometimes you can get so busy serving that you're not worshiping. So one church, next to the last church we went to, I was working, and I was growing spiritually, myself. I was growing. But then we went to we went to another church, and the Holy Spirit was like, "You sit, you not to serve, you is to sit and be ministered to."
Mm-hmm.
And so, because when I'm singing in the choir, he's in his seat, I'm at the choir. Like, we're not being ministered to together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that the season of me sitting and being ministered to, I felt like we got even a deeper relationship with God, because we were getting the same word at the same time. And it wasn't like I was up here and he was down here. It was like we were together with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that made a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I'm a preacher's kid. And so all I know is serve, 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 serve. And I think right now I'm in a season of sit down, get what you need. Child, your cup is empty. Hello, let me pour back into you. So I completely understand that. How is your relationship with your kids, guys? What I mean, you got a lot going on. I know you said one son is working with you. What else is going on with the kids?
Well, we have Miss Brandy, who just graduated from college in May. And so she went for public health, but both of her parents are entrepreneurs. So I knew she would not go punch a clock and work somewhere else. That's just not in her DNA. So she's passionate about photography and sports photography. And so she has a couple of contracts, I think, doing social media posting and stuff like that for a couple companies. But part of it is I'm working to get to my next level, and he has his own business, and we need help around here. So we can pay you to work right here. And then we have custody of my 14-year-old nephew. Mm-hmm. So he has football and he has this. And so she's able to kind of help us. And my thing with her was, there again, we took my mom for 12 years. So my kids did it too. So the gift to her now is you can take a break. You can take a break. You know, she has no bills and she has a brand new car that we pay for. So before you start your for real life, you can take a break and figure out what it is you really want to do. Because I mean, at her age, I already had a baby. I was already like way out. And so I'm like, I want her to have a different life. You don't have to rush to do whatever. You can take your time. And my son, he's married. And he's married to his little church sweetheart. Is somebody you or you issue? So he works with Ray full time, and so we do good. We did have two other nieces with us. They have to go about their way, so we just got one bonus baby right now. But you know, for us to be able to give that gift to another child too. He told me today, he came in here and he's like, "Hey, Frida, I'm just so grateful to be here."
Oh.
I'm just so grateful. And so, you know, I tell people often, success is not just about what you get, it's what you're able to give.
Mm-hmm. I love that, because that's how I live my life. Absolutely. I try to give back as much as possible. And I see that how so many people have given to me along the road as well. So, you know, I love that. Let me ask this. I know that you said you were taking care of your mom. What advice would you give? Because I know that she recently passed away. What advice would you give to those that are going through that time period right now? Because that's a lot going on. Mm-hmm. COVID has changed our whole view of death. And so I just would love to hear your perspective on that right now.
The one thing is, I knew for me, my mom, when she had her stroke in 2010, she was so low in spirit and sick that I knew if we had to put her in a facility, she would not last. Because I believe in the power of prayer, in the power of worship, in the power of community to hold on to hope for someone who's lost it. Mm-hmm. So I would say, you know, it's not ideal for everybody, and it's a lot of work. Some people, you know, they still have to work a 9 to 5. If I had a 9 to 5, there's no way I could have took care of my mom like I did if I had a traditional job, because she was dialysis 3 days a week plus doctor's appointments the other days. But I wanted to, at that point, any day that she lived beyond that point was a gift. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, we thought she was going to die so many times. I thought she had 9 lives, like for real. Mm-hmm. But when that day finally came, even though my heart was like completely broken, I could say I had no regrets. No regrets. So got an emergency call. So that's the part that I would say is try to live your life with little to no regrets. That's the first thing. But then also grief is real. It is real. And many days my heart hurts like nobody business, but yet I press. And so, if you have moments that you need to take them. What blessed me is, and me to know, I'm such a strong person, a strong woman, and I'm there for so many that I'm grateful that someone recommended that I seek counseling. Grateful for that, because I'm the person that people go to who need counseling, and I'm not even licensed. And some of my advice I should make them pay for. that counseling, it helped me deal with my past, my present, and my future. And so just change up the way I think of things. And so she's just been gone a year on Sunday. But I'm learning that I get to choose the way I grieve. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's. I don't have to feel like other people think I should feel. Because be clear, some people are feeling the way they're feeling because they have a lot of regret. I don't have regret. Every foolish thing my mama wanted us to do, whether I wanted to do it or not, we did it. We did it. We did it. I mean, no matter what the cost was, no matter how many times I had to put my feelings on the shelf to grant her wishes and her desires, I did them because I didn't know what day was going to be her last day. And I didn't want to say, I wished I could have. I don't have no I wished I could have moments. None.
I love that. What did support look like from Mr. Williams?
It was amazing because he always allowed me to be free to do what I need to do. Sometimes when we're going through different seasons, we don't know why God chooses us, but he needs witnesses and he needs hands and feet here on earth. So because we did it with such ease and grace, so many of friends that I know, they would call me and say, Lafreda, how did Ray handle your mom being there? And how did you handle your sister being there? And I'm able to tell them, we have the conversations up front. Everybody mind their own business. Not everybody mind their own business. We all got to live here. We can do it peacefully or we could not do it at all. So when you set boundaries and expectations, it was there. Like if I needed him to take her to dialysis or pick her up or, my kids or whomever, we did it together. And that's why I'm in such a place of overflow to my children, because God has just blessed us so, is because they sacrificed too. We all did. Right. We all did. But none of us have to be saying, I wished I had her. We didn't act a fool at the funeral because we had regret. We were crying because we're going to miss her.
Right.
And there's a difference. There's a difference.
Right. I love that. And I appreciate your perspective on that, because not, like you said, not everybody can say that. I can think of some things that people would say to me when my father passed away that I was like, why would you, like asking me, so you still grieving about that? Hold on, excuse me? Wait a minute. Why would you say something like that? And I just think the reason I brought that up is because of the perspective that I knew that you would bring to this. Because from 2020 till now, we've lost so many people, and so many people are getting desensitized by death. And no, it's still a loss and it still hurts somebody. It might not hurt you, but it's hurting this person, and you need to be sensitive to that. But live life with no regrets. And that's exactly what I was hoping that you would say, because I know you. So let me ask this question. What advice would you guys give to couples that are just getting started right now and want to make it to that 23-year mark?
I would say be patient with each other. One of the things that I had to learn was to listen without preparing a response. Like hear what what he's saying, and which is challenging because he don't say much. So so I almost gotta, pull it out of him or whatever. But I will say too, if one person is feeling another way or feeling some type of way, and the other person doesn't know, you can't be mad at them or be whatever when you haven't even addressed how you feel. So sometimes I would tell him, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. He like, I ain't feeling like that. I'm like, but that's how I'm feeling, okay? In his mind, it ain't never no problem. But if I got a problem, then we got a problem. And so just being able to talk that out. And I mean, for me, my parents, it wasn't a healthy marriage. It wasn't. It was toxic. It was toxic. So I didn't live in a home where it was a healthy marriage. There was seasons where it was healthy, but it was more toxic and unhealthy than it was healthy. So when you don't have a good example of what marriage truly looked like living in, what do you model it from? Mm-hmm. You don't have an example for it. Right. So just kind of pulling out of him what I needed to extract, but at the same time letting him know how I feel, because as women, I believe we have a lot of sensitive issues that our men may never know. Mm-hmm. So we don't talk. That's, I think, how people start that drifting. Mm-hmm. And the drifting leads to other things and other things and other things. But if we talk about it, if I let you know how I'm feeling and you're not willing to address how I'm feeling, then that's when you look at something different. But your man or the wife have to know what the other person is feeling, not to attack them, but I'm feeling distant. I'm feeling like we're doing the same old routine. I'm feeling like whatever. And he has his own perspective about what he be feeling about what I'm not doing, but that's a whole different story for another day. But
we want to hear from him.
The communication part of it. And so, it is what it is.
What's your perspective on it, Mr. Williams?
Just listen. Mm-hmm. Listen to her. Yeah, that's all you do. You listen to her.
I don't win anyway.
You ain't gonna win. Might well throw your guns in.
Wait a minute. I love it. See, but see, my thing is,
go back to your neutral corner.
Huh?
You'll just go to your neutral corner.
Oh Lord. Yes, I do believe, because I teach a technique to couples called pause, and it's literally a timeout. Go to your mutual corners. You can go somewhere, neutral corners. You can go somewhere in the house, wherever you have designated that you can go. It's pre-planned out. But take a moment. You can only do up to 24 hours. You can't go over 24 hours when you pause. You got to come back and talk about it. You got to come back and try to work it out. And if you need a coach, a counselor, a therapist to come in and get you right, then add that into the mix, So I love that. And you talked about actively listening, that you were describing actively listening, because not everybody does that. And it's a skill set that you have to learn, honestly. I teach it to the kid. I used to teach it to the kids all the time, and they were like, "What? Yeah, you're gonna need this when you get older, because if you're not listening, you're gonna miss some vital things in all of your relationships." So I definitely love that. And so one thing that I do want us to do before we wrap this up today is I want you to tell everybody, first of all, how they can reach you, Miss Lafreda, so that they can either purchase Mary Kay, join your team, watch your inspiration online. How can they get a hold of you, girl?
Well, if you don't have a current beauty consultant, I would totally love to take care of you. But I do have my website, which is marykay.com/LWilliams20 is my website. I'm actually on Facebook, and I'm on Instagram at BEE_amazing. And so, yes, I love all of that. Look at this girl. She just on it.
Now that is not Lafreda's podcast link. I accidentally left that in there. My bad. But MaryK.com. That's hers.
Yes.
And you said be amazing, correct? For amazing.
Yes, BEE_amazing on Instagram.
And I'll add that in the comment sections for our guest. But is there anything else that you would leave? Because I know that you are a very encouraging woman. Is there anything that you would like to leave our audience with? Just something that would uplift them, motivate them to keep going.
I would say, as couples, set goals, set financial goals, set relationship goals, just, what do y'all dream about, together? And so lots of things that I remember when I was building my business, I used to tell him, I'm like, babe, just hang with me. I'm going to take you around the world. I'm going to take you around the world. And I didn't take him around the world a couple times, but it's just, that encouraging part of, even though it may not look like you want it to look or you even understand it, because I did not understand what he was doing when he was building his business. I promise you, I was like, how is this even remotely going to work? But because he supported me and believed in me, I owed him that. Once you reach success, that doesn't mean that you don't reach back or that you encourage your spouse to do the same. And so I would say, what do y'all dream about? We've been able to accomplish so much because we're together with it. We're almost completely debt free. We only own our mortgage and Brandy's car. Everything else is paid for. We just have utilities, but we plan for that and we prepare for that and we set goals for that. And so it's not easy both of us being entrepreneurs. That's not easy because my son and my nephew-in-law works for him, and I have to remind him they don't work. They're not the owners, so you can't be calling them on the weekend and after hours and all that. Now, when you're the owner, you might go 24/7. That's because it's your business. And so we've been able to manage that. And even like now, I've been working like all day today. But the beautiful thing about it is I know I'll go hard for the next 6 days, and then we'll be gone to Aruba for 6 days, just me and him. Then I'll come home and we'll work for 3 weeks. Then we'll be going to Scotland for 7 days. So we're going to go travel in August. We're going to travel in September. We might even go somewhere October, November, December. But that's the beauty of being entrepreneurs. Neither one of us have to say, can I take off?
Mm-hmm.
And you can't leave it.
Oh, wait. So tell me, what is your favorite place that you have gone traveling?
I would say Hawaii.
Oh, why?
It was so relaxed. Well, first of all, when we earn these trips from Mary Kay, we don't pay for nothing. We pay for nothing. So that's the beautiful thing about those trips. But it was so relaxing and so peaceful and just, I'm not a girl that I'm not one to really go underwater, but I love me some clear beach water and sand. And it was just amazing. Argentina was really nice too, because it was a lot of culture there. Now, Alaskan cruise, that was great too, because that would have never been like a bucket list thing. Let's go to Alaskan cruise. But when I tell you the water, the glacier mountains, it's like God's untapped, untouched. Like I could talk about it and see it and smell it. It was that powerful. So I would definitely, tell somebody, oh my God, that Alaskan cruise was amazing. Well, and on that cruise on Norwegian, it's not a lot of young people and it's people with money. So it's a different type of environment too. It's not Carnival. It's Norwegian. So, it's just those type of things that, and we get to do that. We get to do that. And so it's a blessing.
I know I thought I was done asking questions, but I got another one for you. What has been the most difficult thing about having such a large team?
For me is because I'm who I am, I want to help everybody. And I want to help everybody. I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to win. And so in some cases, you give a lot of you investing in people with time and energy. And sometimes it doesn't pan out, but I had to learn that it wasn't anything that I could have did or didn't do. It was their choice. So learning to love people where they're at and sometimes leaving them there too.
Right. Oh,
I want you to go, but I can't drag you. You gotta want to go.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. What's been the most rewarding besides, getting to go on these cruises and stuff, with having a team? What has been the most rewarding for you?
Oh my God, just seeing their dreams manifest, just seeing them be able to do, one of my directors, her son is getting ready to go to college, and because she's seen me pay off Brandy's college, being able to map out a plan with her to make the extra money so that her son can graduate from college with zero debt. This past week, seeing 12 of them picking up their own diamond rings. I'm always a winner because I'm gonna work to win. That's just what I do. That's who I am. That's my DNA. But to sit back and watch them, it literally brought tears to my eyes,
Yeah.
because so many times people want to win, but they don't want to work.
Mm-hmm.
And these girls worked their businesses and made things happen for their families, and then they got the rewards. Some people work just for the rewards. I teach to work what you need to do for your family, and the rewards will show up.
Right.
It's a
Right.
different thought process. So
Mm-hmm.
to see them achieving, to see them getting their cars, that to me is the biggest blessing that there is. The woman that I've become with my confidence, I didn't really think I had a confidence issue, but when you add self-growth to confidence, it takes it to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm such a server by heart that my mentor told me, she said, don't get pride confused with the position. You've earned the
Mm-hmm.
position. You can be humble and still walk in authority in the position that you hold, because very few people have gotten to this place. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's a blessing to see how God has worked on me and how he's used me and how I'm able to continually give that gift on, so that women and girls for generations to come will know that you have a way out. You don't have to stay in a abusive relationship because you don't have money. You don't have to do this. So many of our decisions is based on our economics.
Right.
And we're stuck in so many ways because we can't afford to make another move. And so I'm teaching, love your husband and be with your husband. But if his tail is crazy, don't stay with him because you don't have another choice. Stay with him because you love him enough that you want to stay with him. Don't stay with him just because you can't afford to move somewhere else. I mean, me and him both, either one of us could part ways today, and both of us are still financially stable, that whether we're here together or we're apart, that we're both rock solid, because I didn't just build for me. He didn't just build. We set it up that we both got it going on. Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense? So
Yes,
we're not
ma'am.
staying together because we got to stay together. We
Right.
stand together because we want to stay together.
Right. Oh, I love that. And this is National Language Month. So I need everybody to change their mindset and change their mind and listen to the language and the words that are coming out of her mouth. It's the language of positivity. It's the language of changing some things and surrounding about you, change the situation. Language. Yes. Woo! I love it, Lafreda. So we're gonna wrap this up, but again, you can go to marykay.com/L Williams 20, right? And B_amazing on Instagram to follow this wonderful woman and her beautiful husband as well. Listen, guys, this has been another episode of Candyology, where we talk about love, sex, and relationships. And I have been so blessed by this conversation. Make sure that you like, share, and ring that bell so that you can get all of these notifications, and go back and watch some of these episodes. I've had some amazing guests on my show. So, guys, I am wishing you love-filled days and orgasmic nights. Have a great